Right then guys, welcome to the Crony Bikers Garage, and today I'm at Virtue Honda in Nottingham and they're kindly letting me out on the Transalp 750. So let's jump on and we'll have a look what it's like. And I'm enjoying this video. It's not going to be a full review, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare it against my CB500X. So when you first jump on, everything feels really familiar. All the dashboard and all the tank and everything in the sides, it's really, you feel really at home on it. The switch gear is identical to my ADV 350 apart from the mode button, which on the ADV 350 is traction control on or off. This has got a few more features. Straight away the engine's got a really nice growl to it. Can already tell it's got loads of torque, buckets full of torque, especially getting off of the CB500X. And I think if you were contemplating this bike, you may well consider it the natural progression to come up from an A2. I'm not an A2, but if you were, this is would be a really good choice. And of course it's got Honda Road Sync, which is the joystick up, down, left and right. Where's this car going? We're going to come into the Nationals in a minute, so when we do, we'll have a feel what the torque is like. What gear am I in? I'm in gear 5, 50 mile an hour, 3,500 revs, and here we go. Yeah, very nice pickup. And the riding position as well, it's very similar to the CB500X, although this is physically a little bit bigger. It just feels a little bit bigger everywhere. Yes, as I was saying, we've got the Honda Road Sync connectivity, which I've already connected to, which enables you to go through messages, music, volume control. I've done a separate video about that on the ADV 350. This bike hasn't got the blipper on it, so I'm having to use the clutch, but the gearbox feels really nice and slick. What's it like in the bends? Oh yeah. Yeah, it really feels like it wants to go over. Brakes, oh yeah, really strong brakes. Very good brakes. Right, we're going to do a 4th gear roll on in 3, 2, 1, and that's a 4th gear roll on. Yeah, it gets away, but I was expecting it to get away a bit more than that. So yeah, that there is my 500X. Yeah, we'll do a few roll-on tests and a few comparison tests. That's a 2019. My friends kindly come up to ride it for me and do the comparison. it feels almost the same. It's got the same kind of feel as the 500X, weight wise. You can hardly tell them apart. I find the road sync app fantastic because as well as your music, you can actually dictate a text message. You can have people stored in your favourites. So if you're going to be late home for tea, you can text your missus or whatever. You can speak words into, you can speak directions into the navigation. So that is a really good bonus to have on a bike, which comes in quite reasonable, I think. £9,500 here in the UK. Now I know the looks are subjective. People have commented about why have they made it look so bland instead of making it look like a mini Africa Twin, but I like it. I like the looks. People have complained about the headlights, saying it's been lifted straight off the CB500X, but so what? It's a good headlight, so why not use it? I've got no problem with that. The other elephant in the room is the tube tyres. People are dead against that. I don't care. That wouldn't be a deal breaker for me. Tube tyres. And I know actually, I think Tin's on tour when he had his Africa Twin. I'm sure he did a modification where he made his spoked rims tubeless. So I do believe it can be done. What's standing up like? Yeah, standing up, it's fine. Now, as with all bikes, because I've got long arms and long legs, I'm 6'1", but I've got a 34-inch inside leg, so most bikes feel too short for me. I think the seat height on this is 850mm. The seat height on the CB500X is 530. Yeah, it's got really nice pull, and also when you do take the rev counter around the dial, it comes in with a really nice growl. The engine's got a really nice tone to it. Yes, it does feel like one of those bikes that you could just go all day on. Get yourself some panniers on the back, top box panniers, load it up, and you're away. Now, I don't believe this bike comes with a centre stand, which is annoying because you do need a centre stand, well, especially if you've got inner tubes in your tyres. You're going to want a centre stand if you end up having to take your wheel off to fix inner tube. Now, as I've said in my previous video, if you want to get out of the road sync, I think you push it. Hang on, let's get around this bend. Good bit of engine braking as well. Now, I do notice I'm in standard at the minute, so I believe by pressing the mode button, rain, gravel, user, sport, you've got to close the throttle, and now we're in sport. And that does seem to give it a bit more, yeah, seems to give it a bit more. Whee! Right then, for the purposes of this exercise, we're just going to compare acceleration from the CB500X to the Transalp 750. So Benno, do you want to count it down? Go on then. 3, 2, 1, go! Oh dear, that didn't go very well. The traction control cut all my power. So there's the two bikes. There's my CB500X, Transalp 750, and as you can see, the Transalp is just a little bit bigger. I don't think it looks any better than the CB500X. I've got a few add-ons on that. I've got the shad side cases, GV engine bars, little tank bag. I've also raised the screen up for a bit of better wind protection. But yeah, I know what we'll do. Let's have a look. What do they look like from the front? Yeah, the headlight is almost identical. 19-inch front wheel, right side up forks. 21-inch front wheel, upside down forks. Twin discs, single disc, although the new one that my friend Benno's got has got the twin discs. Yeah. So we've got the Mesler Carew Street tyres, which I find are absolutely fantastic. I've got them on the ADV 350 and they're very grippy. Got no quick shifter, no centre stand. We've got a 90/90/21 on the front. And we've got a 150/70/18 on the back. So this is the dashboard. Oh. Lovely greeting, Transalp, when you first turn it on. Now in the menu, you've got loads of things: riding mode, shift point, riding mode. So you've got riding mode, shift point, self-cancelling turn signals are on. Trip auto reset, Honda's integrated security system on or off. I don't know why you'd want to turn that off. Maybe if you was on a ferry, you may have an alarm. Display type. Let's have a look at some of the displays. So you've got type 4, type 3, type 2, type 1. I think we'll have type 1. And then if it's got 2 arrows, it's press and hold. And if it's got 1 arrow, it's 1 click. That's a nice display. And obviously you've got all different levels of power, engine braking, torque, ABS, on or off. Average 60 miles to the gallon. Something else to note, the maximum carrying capacity on the Transalp is 207 kilos, which is your 2 riders plus luggage. Can't exceed 207 kilos, whereas on the CB500X the maximum carrying capacity of a 500X is 189. That's for your 2 passengers and luggage, so it's got a decent carrying capacity on it.
Oh, so it's a lot more money, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got to ask yourself the question, is that £3.5 better than one of them?
Yeah. I don't think it is.
I don't. Come on, let's move, I'm overheating. The other thing I do like about the Transalp is this really good sturdy rack they give you, which is ready made for a top box, although it does say there maximum 8 kilos, which doesn't seem much to me. So let's jump on, do a bit more riding. It feels like one of them bikes that's just in the perfect sweet spot for power and agility and weight. Now, with me having long arms and long legs, if I had one of these, the first thing I'd have to do is what I have to do with all my bikes, is push the handlebars away. They're too close, and especially for standing up, the handlebars are way too close. They're high enough, the bars are high enough, they're just too close to me. So this is what it looks like. Somebody who's 6'1" with a 34-inch inside leg. Right, we're going to do a 40 mile an hour 6-gear roll on. So we're going 3, 2, 1, go. Well, there's not a great deal in it. Not a great deal. Right, Benno, go down to second gear. Right, second gear, second. 3, 2, 1, go. That's where the difference is. When you dial the power in. So that was quite surprising actually. On the 6-gear roll on, I literally thought this was going to annihilate the 500X. So that did surprise me. Obviously, if you're down into the revs, this is going to just take off, which you would expect. It's got a huge power advantage. But I do still love the looks of the 500X. And the other thing that's got going for it is you can easily get, you know, these kind of roads, you can easily get 90s to the gallon. I'm getting about 60 on this. The slow speed balance is really good. Nice manoeuvre. As I say, I'm not going to do a full review of the bike. There's already plenty of brilliant videos out there doing such a thing. This is just my thoughts video on anybody that's thinking about changing up from an A2 or even a 500X, any of the A2 bikes after passing your test. I really do think this would be an excellent choice. It seems really well balanced. Obviously you've got your modes, and I do see it's gone back to standard, so we'll put it into sport, close the throttle, and now we're in sport. One thing I do notice on this, the gears are a lot longer. The gears are a lot more spaced out than the 500. For instance, you can happily go 30 mile an hour in 6 gear on the 500, which you don't really want to be doing in this. And that's my son's bike, an ER6F. He's only been riding a year and he loves it.
Hey, some of that 6-gear roll on from 40.
Yeah.
Where this makes its power, fucking eating that.
Yeah, I know. That really shocked me. That did.
Second, it fucked off, mate.
Yeah. That's because I'd got the revs dialed in then.
It went completely then.
Yeah.
It went away. This must make its power a little bit higher up.
Yeah. That was amazing.
All the way up from 40 to 70. This is with it.
Yeah.
Stays with it, doesn't it?
Yeah. So this is what I look like standing up. leg position's quite comfortable. In fact, I'd say I've probably got more leg room on this than the 500X. There's a nice triangle between bum, handlebars and feet. So I think now we've had a little ride, we should probably start finding our way back to Virtue Honda at Nottingham. So that's just been my little 2 worth on the Transalp 750. Is it worth upgrading from a 500X? Is this bike worth £3,300 more than a 500X? I don't know, the jury's out on that. If you need the power, then yes. But if, like me, you've been riding since you was a baby and you've ridden all kinds of fast bikes and you're no longer in search of that massive power, then I don't think there's anything wrong with the 500X. I'll be honest with you. But let's take out that bike and see what we think.